It's on.
Terry, how you doing? It's Ed here with Scott and Shelley and Jimbo. At Exceed out here in East Hampton, and we're looking forward to completing our certification with this video. We're going to do it as a group, and we're all going to have different parts and different places throughout the video. So we're going to start with the naming of all the parts of the rower, and Shelley's going to take that first.
Okay, just going through each part of the rower, we have the flywheel, the damper, the handle hook right here, performance monitor, the monorail, and the foot flex, and of course the seat.
Okay, we're going to roll right into the next part, which is going to be the maintenance and the breakdown and the setup of the rower, and Scott's going to take that part.
All right, so the maintenance is really important. Just so there's some awareness about the flywheel, it can get dusty, it needs to be cleaned from time to time. You can take a look inside to see whether or not it needs to be cleaned. The other piece is the chain. We always want to make sure the chain is lubricated at least once a month. We want to check to make sure there's no tight links. Okay, always want to make sure that it's cleaned after you use it. So after every single use, we want to make sure that we take some Windex. We're able to clean the monorail completely, the seat, the handle. The other thing on the performance monitor, we want to make sure that there's a battery in here that needs to be checked from time to time, and would suggest changing it probably every few months, depending upon how much is being used.
Yeah. All right. The next is the breakdown and storage.
Yeah, breakdown to storage. So. These machines break into two pieces. You'll see here that we have the monorail separate from the flywheel, the flex foot, and the handle. So what we'll always recommend you do when you store the machine, ultimately if you have the room to store the machine in one piece, that's terrific. If you don't, we suggest that you break it into two pieces to actually store it. This is the actual main piece and the monorail. You'll see on the main machine there's a pin. And that pin will allow for you to connect it to the monorail. And this is an important piece to get done properly. So it simply slides in and drops. This folds up, and the machine's together. So you always want to make sure that it's secure. When it's put together, you take your handle and put your handle back down into the handle hook. You'll take your performance monitor and put your performance monitor up. And you're ready to roll. So breakdown is also very similar. If you wanted to break it into two pieces, again, simple. We pick the monorail up, lift this here, then again, it'll break down pretty simply into two pieces. That is the other really important piece before we're done breaking it down, is that we want to take our performance monitor, slide that performance monitor down, take the handle off the handle hook and put it back down. So, you know, one of the things in here will be a bungee cord, and the bungee cord is what really keeps that handle ability to be retracted back into its space. If it doesn't go all the way back into the space, you're going to need to tighten up your bungee cord.
The safety procedures.
I'm going to go over the safety procedures and the safety on the Concept 2 rower. Number one, you always want to make sure the frame lock is connected before you get on, before you move it, anything like that. You pick it up, check that before you pick it up, move it, or get on it. This one's good to go. The seat, these rollers, hands, fingers, clothing, long clothing, keep it away. Children, it's not a slide, you know, it's the seat for the rower. The handle, both hands on, in the handle hook. Don't let it rip back in there into the chain guide. You want to keep it here or both hands on it. Make sure the bolts are tight on the mounts in the front and on the back. Don't twist the handle, you know, no one-handed rowing. And I think that's about it as far as safety.
is, I'm going to do the breakdown of the performance monitor. You probably are not going to see my face for much longer. I'm going to be zeroing in here. So the performance monitor, we have menu back, display or change display, and change units. And the units go from 500 meter splits, which would be the standard measurement for rowing, average per 500, split meters, and the projected amount of meters you would have in 30 minutes. On this particular display, we have the strokes per minute, which is basically how fast you're going up and down the monorail, or how fast you're pulling the chain. In the upper right-hand corner, your time, and then your average per 500. The stronger you pull, the lower the number will be. We've got our total number of meters, cumulative meters, then the average of what you're pulling. So if you're sitting at a 145 or 150, that's projected what you will do for 500 meters if you continue to pull at that strength. The split meters is 30 seconds, how many meters you're covering in 30 seconds. The display, we've got kilograms and pounds. You could use either one. On the pace boat, if you want an optional pace boat and you want to have a fixed certain time, you can place the pace boat at, say, 2 minutes per 500, and the pace boat will continue at that exact pace the whole time. If you're a little behind, you can start picking it up. If you're a little ahead, you can slow it down, but the pace boat is a good measurement of where you are and works well when you're rowing by yourself. The just row category, the top one, when we go to, sorry about that, when we go into display change, the large numbers, because I've got bad eyes, I use this one the most. And what we have is the time, the average per 500, your actual meters, and then strokes per minute down at the bottom left. I'm going to have Jim row a few strokes so we can get into exactly what's going on here. So I'm going to let him see here too. So our time is ticking. His average pace is about 2 minutes. Strokes per minute about 26. Yep, strokes per minute, and his meters are adding up, but closing in at about 100 meters. I go into a little bit more of involvement on what is showing now, and we have the strokes per minute, we have time, again the average per 500, the actual meters that have been rowed. This is the average that he actually has in a cumulative fashion. So for 48 seconds, he's 157.9. The split meters are 226 to 230, 235, and his projected 30-minute row would be about between 7,800 and 8,000 meters. Okay, I'm going to stop for 1 second. I don't want to be long-winded here, but I'm going to go back into the main menu. The other options we have is select workout, and we have all different things here. You could customize your own workout. There's a standard list of workouts, standard intervals and things like that. There's re-row, which would allow you to row a segment or a piece that you had rowed in the past, and new workout. And the new workout gives you single distance, single time, interval distance, interval time, and variable. So these are many of the options that you can use when you're rowing with a group or as a lesson or rowing individually. So for example, if we're going to go into single set distance and we want to row 1,000 meters, we press the minus sign once, we press the check mark, and we're good to go. That's just a sample of the monitor. I'm not sure how far or how much you want to go into, and we're going to get into a little bit more as we begin the breakdown of the rowing stroke and the rower itself. Okay. Okay, Terry. The next section we're going to do is the pick drill, or how to teach someone proper rowing. And before we do that, we want to make sure that we identify a few things. The damper, or the drag factor. And just to clarify what the drag factor is, it's basically the size of the boat it has no determining factor on how strong someone's rowing, and it is definitely probably overused at a much higher rate in that 9 to 10 value. With a new rower, we're going to set the damper on 3. And 3 is good for a lot of people, but 3 for people that are just learning how to row, it would be the standard number to start the rowing procedure. So we're going to bring the monitor up. We're going to put the handle in the handle hook, and I'm going to place Scott's feet in the flex foot with the straps over the top part of his shoes, his shoelaces, or on the ball of his foot. I'm going to tighten them up, not a death grip, but it's going to be fairly tight. There we go. And that looks good. So we're going to start the pick drill. Yep, he's going to take the handle off the handle hook, and then we're going to start the pick drill in the finished position. So just lean back. Right there looks good. On the finished position, the lean back, if you're on a clock, would be 11 o'clock.
Go.
So again, we're starting in the finished position with a neutral wrist, a slight lean back. If Scott was a hand clock, he would be finishing at the 11 o'clock, and on his hinge forward would be at the 1 o'clock. Shoulders are back, neutral spine. He's going to extend the arms, and he's just going to pull with his arms in that finished position. Once we see neutral arms and relaxed grip on the handle, we're going to allow Scott to hinge forward into that 1 o'clock position. Hinge. Still no leg movement. Hinging, keeping the back flat and straight. He's not rolling or curving his upper back. He's keeping his back straight and hinging with his hips forward. Still 11 to 1 here. He's got discipline now and messaging to start a quarter flexion of his knees, because he's rowing now and allowing the handle to pass his knees before he bends them. Now he's going to continue that with his bent knees. Let's tighten this back up a little bit. Right. And now let's do one more movement. So as soon as they pass your knees, bend it quarter. And now we're at a half right there. That's 3/4. And then the full flexion would be vertical shins is full flexion. There's still only the same amount of hinge forward. It's still 11 and 1, just driving and using the legs. Stopping at vertical shin, driving off the flex foot. A small lean back, a small hinge forward, and good discipline. That's the pick drill. That's breaking down the rowing stroke. And let's go a couple more, if we can. As Scott finishes, he's now recovering. He's driving. And there's a small place between the recovery and the drive, and that's called the catch. It's right there. When you get the tension back on the chain, that's the catch. Recovery, forward, catch, drive, finish. Recovery, catch, drive, finish. Catch, drive, finish. Recovery. Catch, drive.
All right, now we just went over the pick drill with Scott. Now we're going to use the strapless stroke here. His feet are unstrapped. Now this is a way to discipline yourself in this stroke. He has his catch into the drive. His feet aren't leaving the hip flexors. So again, it keeps you disciplined in your stroke here. And it's a good drill to use just for that, to tune up your stroke and keep yourself disciplined in your stroke. Because as you lose it and you get a little rough around the edges, you get fatigued, you probably wouldn't be able to do it this way. So if you train with the feet out of the straps, it's a good way to discipline your stroke again.
So this particular fix, we're going to take a look at and address and cue how to prevent the knees from coming up before the hands. So Jimmy, what I'm going to ask you to do here is, on the finish, is to let the arms, and then the hinge, and then the drive. So what often I'll tell people is that we want to, it's a 1 to 2, so 1 and then 2 coming back. Out, and then 1, 1,000, 1, 1,000, 2 coming back. So a slower recovery and a proper extension and hinge will prevent you from having your knees come up too early.
Right, this mistake that Jim is making right now is he's doing what we call shooting the tail. He's jutting his rear end out first instead of initiating with the drive. So how we would fix this is I would tell Jim he needs to initiate with the drive, pushing with the feet, and extending his legs completely and levering back with straight arms instead of shooting his right out first.
All right, now Shelly's demonstrating an absolutely horrible rowing technique. Now she's overreaching, she's overextending. We're going to correct them both now. Now the key is to, with the hip lever, again we start 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock is the extremes. All right, she's overreaching, so she's only going to, this next stroke she's going to get into the finish position. When she comes in, she's going to come in until her calves are vertical. She's not going to bring her body too far forward, just to the 11 o'clock position. And then on the drive, she's going to come back and again only go back to the 1 o'clock position in that lever, the body leveraging. She's back a little bit too far now. And next time when she comes back, she's only going to come to the 1 o'clock position there. All right, again, a lot of times when you overextend, you're bringing it up to your throat or up to your chin or whatever. Right here, it's right in her belly, right under the ribs. Elbows are down low, neutral wrists, and that's how you stop it. Good job.
Okay, so we're going to identify a couple more faults. The next one is rowing with too tight of wrists. You're grabbing the wrists or grabbing the handle too tight and death gripping the handle. So you want to, Shelly, grab it really tight, and I want you to row with bent arms. You do see this a lot in people. They just don't fully extend their arms, and they grab real tight, and everything is going wrong from the chest up. So we're going to stop for a second, and we're going to relax. I like to just take a relaxed grip, have the thumbs over, but not grabbing on too much. And as you drive with the legs, the elbows come down, and you have a neutral, straight wrist and a light grip. We're going to do a couple of those strokes. And then with the bent elbows, with the bent arms, what we're going to do is we're going to fully extend. We're going to fully extend the arms. The arms, yes, drive, connect the legs and back to the handle. So you fully extend and drive. Always going back to that pick drill. Relaxed grip, neutral wrists, arms coming back to the side. Bringing it up a little, just tightness, lean up a little bit. And neutral wrist, nice neutral wrist. So neutral wrists, and again the arms connecting the legs and back to the handle. Feeling the tension throughout. Good. Okay, the next fault is using the back too early. Driving the chain with the extension in the back. It hurts just looking at it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Scott start from the finish position. We're going to have him go through a quick hip drill where we're going to extend, that's it, hinge, and then have the knees bent, and then use the leg drive. The legs are fully extended before the back starts to extend backward. There's a full extension of the legs driving off the flex foot, and then the extension of the back. Always going back to the tip. Good.
John.
Scott Bradley. And Jimbo.
John.
Terry, we have 15 seconds left of this video. We want to say thank you and critique